Morning. Morning. We'll start in like, 2 minutes or so, like I always say. I'm still getting set up. You may want some, sorry, I'm adjusting this. You may want some props for this class. So, for the slow flow classes, I try to make it more gentle and restorative. So if you have towels, like 2 to 3 towels would probably be good. Something to put over your eyes. So if you have an eye mask that you like sleep with, or just a like soft washcloth would be good. You can have blankets, and then something that resembles blocks. So it could be obviously a block, a yoga block, or like a tissue box, or books would be good as well. And then something that resembles a strap or a belt. So like I use my gi belt at home, but you can use, an actual belt or something that's long and looks like a belt. So gather all of that. Where did my coffee go? Grab your beverage if you need it. And we'll get started in about 2 minutes. I think I said that 2 minutes ago, but maybe 60 more seconds. Hi, Papa. Hey, Crystal. Hi, Tasha. Hi, Brian. I miss you guys. Excuse me. Okay, so if you're just joining, if you want to gather some props, a couple bath towels is good, like larger bath towels, 2 or 3. Anything that resembles a block or like a rectangle shape block, tissue box, books, etc. And then something, you don't have to have any of these, by the way. This is just in case you feel like you need them. And then something to cover your eyes, so like a nice washcloth, like a soft washcloth, or an eye mask of some sort, like I have this one. And then something that resembles a strap or a belt. So just have that nearby. And if you already have all that stuff and you're at your mat, let's go ahead and just make a couple small bolsters with our towels. So if you have them, again, if you don't have props, it's fine. You don't need them. Winnie likes to get on mine. All right, so what you're going to do is just take your towels and from, the edges, line them up. And so it's in half, and then fold it one more time. So it looks like so. And then put that down. And just make sure to smooth it out, because if you don't smooth it out, it's like wrinkly and stuff. Excuse me. So make sure to smooth it out with your hands. Just so it's nice and smooth, no wrinkles. And your animals might get on your blanket like Winnie is doing right now. And then from the smoother edge, you're going to tuck and roll. Mine doesn't look great, but that's fine. So you're going to roll it up so you have a nice, firm, small bolster. And I like to kind of smooth that out as well, to kind of like pack it. Do that with 2. I need to get another one. Do that with 2 of your towels. And then we're going to get started. So if you're just joining or just got your props, folding your towel in half, let's match up, folding it again so it's like this, lying it down, smoothing it out, no wrinkles, and then from the smoother edge, rolling it up. All right. And then just have them towards like the top of your mat. We're about to use them in a second. All right. Welcome to Saturday morning. I hope you all, are excited about your weekend. I know I am. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Even if you're not a mom, I feel like we are a mom in a sense. Like I don't have any kids, but I like to think of myself as I'm a cat mom, and my niece is super important to me. And although I'm not her mom, I love her very dearly. So happy Mother's Day to everybody, because we're all moms in some way. I hope everyone has had a great week. If you didn't, I hope this helps with that. And yeah, so we're just going to get started. It's going to be a slow flow, so I'm going to incorporate some gentle yoga. We will do some moving, and just remember to modify. Okay, so yoga is about creating a practice that is good for you and your body and your mind. And we already have so much stress in our life that you don't need another stress, when you're in a pose and you're like either mentally exhausted or your body and mind are screaming at you to stop. So if that happens, modify. Either come out of the pose or find something in that pose that brings you joy. So whether it's putting a block under your hand, or if it's coming up a little bit, or making your stance wider. So these are all things that I try to talk about during the practice to help you. So try it. See what happens when you try the modification. And if it doesn't feel good, or if it doesn't help, then obviously don't do it. But it's all about finding your practice and what feels good to you. Okay. All right. So let's start lying down. And I don't have music on today because with the YouTube channel, it can hear my music, and that's a no-no. So you might hear some noise downstairs. So, that's part of the home practice. Put your rolled up towels under your knees and have your legs a little bit wider than hip bone distance apart. My cat is going crazy. I apologize. Legs are a little bit wider than hip bone distance apart. And if you don't have your towels, it's fine. Just lay flat. All right. And then you're going to come down to your backs. And again, if you don't have your towels there, your legs can just be flat on the floor, or you can bend your knees, feet on the floor, knees into touch, whatever feels better for you. But just come to a comfortable position lying down, arms down by your sides. You can flip your palms up. If it feels more comfortable to have your palms facing down, you can do that as well. Just taking normal breaths in and out. Coming into your practice. And setting your intention. And your intention can be whatever it is for you in this moment. It could be just accepting where you are in your practice today. It can be letting go of something. It could be working on being present and in this moment. So just think about that. And then slowly start to deepen your breathing. Taking a long, slow, deep inhalation, followed by a long, slow, deep exhalation. And on each inhale, just starting to get a little bit deeper, filling your body up with air on each inhale. And then releasing it and letting it go on your exhale. Take 2 more deep breaths. And then return to normal breathing. And then go ahead and place your left hand on your chest and place your right hand on your belly. So your left hand should be, where your sternum is. So your pointer finger is kind of raising your collarbone, and then your right hand is on your belly. And I like to think, like your thumb is just touching your belly button and your hand is below your belly button. We're going to do a couple rounds of 3-part breathing. When I count 1, you're going to breathe into your belly. When I count 2, you're going to breathe into your ribs. And when I count 3, you're going to breathe up into your chest. Then when I say breathe out and I count 1, you breathe out from your belly. 2, breathe out from your ribs. And 3, breathe out from your chest. Okay? All right. Exhale all the air out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And then breathe into your belly for 1. Into your ribs for 2. Into your chest for 3. Breathe out 1 from your belly. 2 from your ribs. 3 from your chest. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Hold it unless you're pregnant or think you are. Don't hold it. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Hold it. One more time. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Good. Then return to normal breathing. And then very slowly start to take the towels out from under your knees if they're there. You can just bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and kind of just kick them out to the sides, and then just move them off to the sides. You can always re-roll them later. And then from here, keep your knees bent with your feet on the floor. So if your legs are still straight, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and draw your right knee into your chest. And then only if it feels good, go ahead and extend your left leg down to the floor. Flex your left foot, toes point up. And then just to get your joints moving a little bit, start to make circles with your right knee. Just making circles with your right knee, going in any direction. And go the other direction. Good. Bend your left knee, place your left foot on the floor. And then from here, start to draw your right knee toward your right armpit. And then from here, sorry about that loud noise downstairs. From here, flex your right foot and start to lift your right foot up. And then take your right hand and grab the outer edge of your right foot, coming into happy or half happy baby pose. So if you have a difficult time reaching the outer edge of your foot and it feels really stressful, or you're like having to lift up to do it, you can grab the inside or just grab one behind your thigh. This is okay too. And then again, only if it feels good, you can extend your left leg back down to the floor. Make sure that your left hip is pressing down as even as your right. So a lot of times people tend to press down more into their right hip. So you want to press evenly into both of your hips. Good. Inhale, bend your left knee, place your left foot on the floor. Draw your right knee back into your chest. And then go ahead and exhale, place your right foot on the floor. Inhale, draw your left knee into your chest. Hold onto your shin. You can also hold behind your knee. And then very slowly, go ahead and extend your right leg down to the floor. Flex your right foot, toes point up. And then you can start to make circles with your left knee. Just lubricating the hip joints, getting them moving a little bit. And then go the opposite direction that you're going in. And then from here, bend your foot back on the floor. And then start to draw your left knee toward your left armpit. And then start to lift your left foot up towards the ceiling. Keep your foot flexed. And then you're grabbing the outside of your left foot. And again, if that is too stressful or you can't grab it, you can just grab one behind your thigh, or you can also grab one to your big toe, wherever it is easy to hold on to. If this is easy, then that's fine. And then only if it feels comfortable, go ahead and extend your right leg down to the floor. And keep your right toes pointing up. So in order to get your toes to stay pointing up, you want to rotate your inner right thigh down towards the floor and then press your right thigh down. Good. Inhale, bend your right knee, place your right foot on the floor, draw your left knee into your chest. Draw your right knee into your chest, so both knees are drawing in. From here, we're going to take a stretch. So on your exhale, go ahead and extend everything out. Legs down, arms reaching back, reaching out through your toes and your fingertips. Maybe side bend to your right, side bend to your left. Do that a few times. Good, and then inhale, draw everything in. Again, give yourself a nice big hug. Good, from here we're gonna come into a twist. So option one is to take one of your blocks. You can grab them with your feet and put them between your knees. That's option one. Option two is to have one of your rolled up towels between your knees and just have them nearby. When we go into the twist, you'll know if you need it or not. Arms come out into a T shape, palms flipped up. Move your hips a little bit to the left and then draw your knees up and drop your knees off to the right. So hips to the left, knees to the right. And you want to get your knees in line with each other and your top hip should be in line with your bottom hip. So this is where if it feels stressful, if you have any kind of back injury, issue, condition, deep stretching might not be the best thing. So you can put a towel under you. This personally gives me a lot of relief. You can also put something underneath your left shoulder if your left shoulder isn't coming down all the way and under your left arm. Again, you shouldn't feel pain or a lot of stress. Good. Inhale, slowly come back to the center. Place your feet down, readjust your hips. And then just move your hips a little bit to the right and then draw your knees in and drop your knees to the left. And again, if you need props, each side can be a little bit different. So if this side feels different to you, play around with using props and see how it feels. Try to keep your knees up to hip height if you can. And think about your right shoulder rotating down towards the floor. And then inhale, slowly come to the center, place your feet down, remove your props, and then grab one behind your knees and rock yourself forwards and backwards 3 times and rock yourself up to sitting and come into tabletop. So coming into a tabletop position, knees underneath your hip bones, hip bone distance apart. There's the dog. Hands, your wrist, elbow, shoulders are in one line. Spread your fingers, turn your hands slightly out. Untuck your toes and press the tops of your feet down and press your shins down into the floor. And then from here, press your hands down and lift your chest away from the floor. So instead of sinking down into your shoulders, you know, in yoga, there is such thing as repetitive stress injury. So if you do something that is not good for your joints and your muscles and all that, over and over, you're going to get a stress injury. So think about pressing your hands down, lifting your chest away from the floor, but then drawing your shoulder blades towards each other at the same time. So you're not really rounding your upper back. Everything is remaining neutral. And then think about your tailbone lengthening towards the back of the room. So you're not tucking it under, you're just lengthening it back. So that way your lower spine is also nice and neutral and stretched. Pause here for a moment. And then your next inhale, keep lifting away from the floor as you lift your right arm up to shoulder height. Reach your right fingertips forward. And exhale, place your right hand down. Keep lifting up away from the floor and inhale, lift your left arm up to shoulder height, reaching out through your left fingertips. And then exhale, place your left hand down and come to child's pose. So hips to your heels, knees can be slightly together or apart. And then you're just coming down, forehead to the floor, or on one of your towels, or on one of your blocks, or block substitute. Arms out in front of you, or they can be down by your sides. This is your rest pose. So if you ever need a rest, child's pose is the pose to go to. You can stay there as long as you need to, and then when you're ready, just come back and meet us wherever we are. On your next inhale, look up to your hands. So, lift your head up, look up to your hands. And make sure your arms are about shoulder distance apart. Spread your fingers. Now press your hands down to the floor so your elbows lift up. So keep pressing down into your hands as you press yourself up to tabletop. And then move your knees back in so they're hip bone distance apart. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. So you're in like this lunge type of thing. And then just move your left leg back a little bit. So pick your leg up and move it back so you're not directly on your kneecap. Move your right foot to the right just 1 or 2 times, just so your feet are in their own lane. And then inhale, come up onto your fingertips. If you need blocks, you can put your blocks into your hands. I'll be using and showing the modifications throughout this practice. So again, if you don't need them, you don't have to use them. If you have props and would like to use them, they're here for you. Keep lifting your chest. Good. And you can keep your back toes tucked under like me, or you can untuck your toes and really press down into the top of your foot. And then think about what your tailbone is doing. Lengthen your tailbone towards the floor and scoop your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. Keep lifting your chest up for 3, for 2, for 1. Go ahead and bring your hands down. If you have blocks, go ahead and remove them. And then tuck your back toes under your left toes and lift your left leg up. Step your left foot to the top of your mat to meet your right foot. Inhale, lift up halfway lengthening. Place your hands on your shins or on your upper thighs, drawing your arms in, lengthening your chest forward. So try not to have a rounded spine. Lengthen it forward. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. For Urdhva Hastasana, reaching your fingertips up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bend your knees slightly and forward fold again. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen, hands on shins or upper thighs, whatever feels better. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head again. It doesn't matter how you reach them up in front of you or out to the sides. Bend your knees slightly and exhale, fold over. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands down by your sides, Tadasana. Good, so it's always good to put a slight bend in your knee when you're folding over. Because a lot of times if you straighten your legs, your hips go back versus staying in line with your knees and your ankles, or specifically your ankles. They should be in line there. So by bending your knees just a little bit, that might allow you to hinge forward and fold over, okay? Bring one of your blocks or your block substitute. If you don't have it, it's fine. And place it between your inner thighs like so. And then stand at the top of your mat. Arms stand by your sides, palms flip forward. And I want you to press in your thighs into your block and about the block rotating behind you. Like you want to push it towards the back of the room. And then inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, bend your knees slightly, fold over. Keep pressing into your block. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. And then exhale, hands down by your side, remove the block. Come back to Tadasana. Inhale, reach your arms up. Pretend like that block is still there. Exhale, fold over. Still squeezing your thighs in. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. So you're in a plank. And then exhale, keep your knees bent as you lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Press down into your hands. Bend your knees and lift your heels up off the floor. So you're pressing into your hands, really lifting away from the floor, through your elbows, through your shoulders, all the way up your spine, through your tailbone, really lifting up. Take 2 more breaths here. Go to your next exhale, go ahead and bring your knees down to tabletop. Line up your arms, knees are hip bone distance apart. And then your next inhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands. Coming back into that lunge. Good, and then from here, just keep your right toes tucked under and then start to lengthen your right leg back. So you're in a longer, low lunge. Move your left foot over to the left 1 or 2 times. And if you have any kind of sensation in your right knee, or any knee, I tend to, you can take a towel and put that under your knee or something that can cushion it. But that's why you want to bring your leg back so you're not directly on your kneecap. Move your left foot to the left 1 or 2 times, and then inhale, come up onto your fingertips. And again, using your blocks if you need them. Lifting your chest, pressing down into your left foot, and then either keeping your right toes tucked under or untucking your toes and really pressing down into your right foot. And that will also relieve that pressure in your knee. Keep breathing. And then scoop your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. Lift your chest up a little bit more. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring your hands down to the floor. If you have blocks, go to remove them. Pick your right leg up off the floor and then step your right foot forward to meet your left foot. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. So you're in a plank. Then exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. If you want to go ahead and start pedaling your feet now, you can. Bringing one heel down and then the other heel. And again, just working on going slow. You know, we tend to move really fast in our day-to-day lives. So just take this opportunity, take it a little bit slower. If you want to start moving your hips a little bit, you do that too. Whatever movement feels good. And then in 3, 2, 1, come back to stillness and downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, go ahead and shift your weight forward, come back to your plank, drop your knees down right where they are. So think about what's happening to your hips while you're in this modified plank. So you don't want your hips sinking down. This happens a lot. You want to keep your hips raised up. And your hip bones are scooping up toward your bottom ribs, so that makes your tailbone lengthen toward your heels, okay? So you want your core engaged, and you don't want your hips sinking down. All right, next inhale, shift your weight forward, so your shoulders are a little bit forward of your wrists. Draw your upper arms in, and lower all the way down to the floor. Okay, untuck your toes and press down to the tops of your feet. Your feet are about hip bone distance apart, and you're pressing down to all 10 toes. And then your hands should be just behind your shoulders, wrists and elbows in one line. Spread your fingers, press your hands down, draw your upper arms in. On your next inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Then lift up just a few inches for baby cobra. Try not to look all the way up, and this is just going to strain your neck. Just look right past the edge of your mat. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Again, think about lengthening your tailbone towards your heels. And exhale, release, come down. One more time. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Press down into all 10 toes. And exhale, release, come down. On your next inhale, press your hands down into the floor. Press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back. Coming into downward facing dog. And again, just keep your knees bent with your heels lifted. You know, a lot of people might tell you to straighten your legs, bring your heels down, but that might cause your spine, especially your lower back, to round. And that's not what you're looking for. So bending your knees, lifting your heels allows you to really extend in your lower back. and find that space there. All right, next inhale, look to your hands and slowly walk your feet up to your hands. And you can go slow, you don't have to go fast. When you get to the top, distance apart. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, reach your fingertips up. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And then exhale, step your right foot back. Bring your right knee down to the floor. So you're back in that low lunge. Again, if you need to put a blanket or something underneath your right knee, you can. And if you want to put your hands on blocks, you can. Move your left foot over to the left just 1 or 2 times. Your knee and ankle should be in one line at this point at least. And again, just make sure your right leg is nice and long behind you. You want to untuck your toes, press down into the top of your right foot. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your chest up. Lengthen your tailbone down. Now what I'm going to do is lift up just like a couple inches. So I'm going from here to here. So you should feel your hamstring really fire up. But keep lifting your chest and lift from the sides of your waist. And inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Keep pressing down into your left foot and the top of your right foot. Keep breathing for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift up, maybe do a little back bend. And then exhale, place your hands down to your blocks. And then place your hands down to the floor. Tuck your back toes under, lift your right leg up off the floor. Step your left foot back to plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. And then your next inhale, slowly walk your hands back to your feet. Try to put more weight in your feet, less weight in your hands. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, reach your fingertips up. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, walk your hands out, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, drop your knees right where they are. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Inhale. And then exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Good. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your chest up. Baby cobra. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Baby cobra again. And exhale, release. Inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and exhale to downward facing dog. Your next inhale, look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And then exhale, place your hands down. Step your left foot back. Come into your low lunge. So you want to move your foot back a little bit and then place your left knee down. Your left knee should be behind your hip, not under it or in front of it. Move your right foot to the right 1 or 2 times. Again, using your blocks if you need them. Back toes can stay tucked under if that feels more balanced for you, or untuck your toes and really press down into the top of your left foot. Lift your chest up, come up onto your fingertips. Lengthen your tailbone towards the floor. And then from here, lift up about 2 inches. So you're not sinking down into your joints and your hips, you're lifting up and you'll feel your legs engage. And your next inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head, keeping that lift. Hold it here for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, lift up, maybe do a slight back bend. And then exhale, place your hands down to your blocks or the floor. And then move your blocks out of the way. Tuck your toes under, lift your left leg up. Step your right foot back so you're in plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Your next inhale, look to your hands and walk your feet up to your hands. Lift up halfway lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you, over your head. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Okay, so let's go into a squat. So we're gonna open up our hips a little bit. So this is where props come in really handy. Squatting is not easy. I challenge everyone to squat at least once a day. And then build it up. So maybe start with 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then try to get to a point where you're watching TV or something and you're squatting. So separate your feet so they are the width of your mat, toes pointing out. Lengthen your tailbone down, lift your torso up. Good. And then from here, we're going to go into this like an easy way. You're just going to bend over and place your hands on the floor and bend your knees as much as you need to. And then keep your chest long, lengthening forward, and keep your tailbone, you know, they say like flicking back. So your tailbone is like lengthening back. And then keep lengthening your tailbone back and then come down. So you can come down onto blocks like I just did. This is really helpful, and just kind of stay here. Keep your spine lifted. You can come down to one block. See how that feels? Because then at least you're supported with something. Or no blocks. Okay? Both feet should be on the floor, so you shouldn't have your heels lifted up like this. All right? So you can make your stance a little bit wider. Turn your feet out a little bit more. And then from wherever you are. Oh, and then if you cannot squat down, if you have like a hip thing or a knee thing, this might not be something for you. So you can just stay up here. Okay, you don't have to like squat down all the way. All right, so bring your hands together wherever you are and lift your chest up and draw your shoulder blades together. And if you are in a low squat like I am, you can press your arms into your legs and then press your legs back into your arms. So instead of doing something like this, you're pressing, lifting. Okay. Keep breathing. Press down to all four corners of your feet. And just look straight ahead. And then from here, take your right fingertips and bring them down by your right foot. Your arm is straight. And then reach your left arm up. Look straight ahead for now. And then if you would like to turn and look up to your left hand. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Lift your chest and switch sides. Left fingertips down. Reach your right arm up. Look straight ahead first. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your feet on the floor. Then, if it feels comfortable, you can look up to your right hand. Good. Inhale, come to the center. Lift your chest up. Breathe in. And exhale, place your hands down. And if you're in a higher squat, just stand up. That's fine. Bring your feet in to hip bone distance apart, so heel toe your feet in. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, hands down by your sides. If you had blocks under you, go ahead and move them off to the side. And come to the top of your mat into Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip bone distance apart, pressing down to all four corners of your feet. Arms down by your sides. Rotate your shoulders out first and flip your palms forward. Okay, so working on a little bit of balancing. First thing I want to do is bring awareness to our feet, which is our foundation, okay? So what I want you to do is start to just rock yourself forward to bring all the weight to the balls of your feet. Your heels are lifting up just a hair, like I could slide a piece of paper under them. Good, and then start to shift the weight to your right. And then go back, so you're on your heels. And then go to the left. Just do that a few times, going one direction for now. And then go the other direction. And try to go slow, like don't go really fast. Good, and then find the center. So find the center of all of that. You're not too far to the right, you're not too far to the left, you're not too far forward, you're not too far back. You're right in the center, pressing down into your big toe mound, small toe mound, and the two corners of your heels. Lift your toes up, spread them, and then just very gently put them down. And then your next inhale, lift your right leg up off the floor, bend your knee, foot is flexed. Keep lifting up from the sides of your waist. Extend your leg out in front of you. It doesn't have to come up very high. If you want to put it down low, that's fine too. Press your heel forward, toes point up. Exhale, put your foot down. Then inhale, lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, flex your left foot. And think about what's happening with your left hip. You don't want your left hip higher than your right. You still want to keep it in one line and firm your outer hips in. And extend your left leg forward. Again, if you want to bring it down closer to the floor or even touch your heel on the floor, you can do that as well. And then exhale, place your foot down. Inhale, lift your right knee up again, flex your foot. This time on your exhale, turn your leg out from the hip socket. So your knee points out, foot points in. And then from here, slowly bring your foot to your calf. Slowly. Good. If this is not working for you and you are wobbly and falling over, you can bring your toes down. So you're sliding your foot down, toes to the floor. From here, bring your hands together to heart center. Keep lifting up from the sides of your waist and firming your outer hips in. Pressing down to all four corners of your left foot. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, reach your arms up. For tree pose, Vrikshasana. Draw your upper outer arms under. Pretend like you're holding a block between your hands. Good. From here, bring your hands back together to heart center. Your foot, extend your leg out one more time. Maybe lift up a little bit higher this time. And then exhale, place your foot down. Good. You can shake it out, roll it out, actually shake your body. Choice. But then come back to stillness. We're going to repeat it on the other side. So inhale, lift your left knee up, flex your left foot. Try to keep your hips in line with each other. You can actually put your hands on your hip bones if you like, because that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on with your hips. But firm your outer hips in at the same time. And then from here, on your exhale, you're turning your leg out from your hip socket. So your foot starts to point in, knee starts to point out. But it's your own range of motion. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. And then slowly bring your foot to your calf. And again, if you're wobbly on this side, it's just not working out, you can just slide your foot down, bring your toes to the floor. Don't get angry or upset. Sometimes you just have bad balance days. And then if you want to, you can bring your hands together to heart center. Keep lifting up from your torso, lengthen your tailbone towards the floor. And then if you want to reach your arms up to the ceiling, you can. Draw your upper outer arms under, pressing into, like an imaginary block. Good. Inhale, bring your hands back to heart center. Take your left knee, bring it center, flex your foot. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Heel presses forward. Maybe lifting your leg up a little bit higher, breathing. And exhale, slowly bring your leg down. And then roll out your ankles if you like. Circle wrists. Good. And then come to the top of your mat, coming into Tadasana. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. This time we're going to side bend. So I want you to take your right hand to your left wrist. Inhale, lift your left arm up and side bend to your right. I'm opposite of you. Inhale, come to the center, switch sides, left hand, right wrist, lift up, and then exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come to the center, repeat that one more time on each side. Inhale to the center, switch sides. Good. Inhale to the center, and then exhale, fold over. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. And then exhale, place your hands down, step your left foot back, step your right foot back, drop your knees down, come to sitting, kick down in front of you. Okay, so some options here. We're going to do a couple bridges. So option 1 is to have your blocks. Something firmer would be good for that. And then just have your rolls nearby if needed. Come down. Feet are separated hip bone distance apart. And then kind of lift up your hips a little bit and lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, and then put your hips back down. That's just so your tailbone's not like on the floor and you have like this huge gap in your lower back. So lift your hips up, lengthen your tailbone down, and then place your hips down. So you should still have a curve and some space in your lower back. It's just not like this huge space. All right, and then from here, option one, and again, you do not need props, okay? But if you do have them, you're going to take your block and place it between your upper thighs. And if you have something that's more flimsy, it might not work well because you want to really press your thighs into the block. So you're pressing your thighs into your block, arms down by your sides, pressing down into your feet. So your knees and ankles should be in line with each other. Press your shoulders down into the floor. Good. And then your next inhale, start to tilt your tailbone up towards the backs of your knees. Not going to go up yet. Good. Exhale, bring it down. And think about your tailbone pressing into the floor, your sacrum. Good. Do that one more time. Inhale, start to lift your tailbone up towards the backs of your knees. So you're just barely coming up off the floor. And then exhale, releasing, and your tailbone and sacrum are pressing down into the floor. You're just getting used to that feeling of what it's like to lift your tailbone up and then exhaling, tailbone pressing down. Good. Come back to neutral. And then from here, we're going to do a bridge. But if you would like to instead do supported bridge pose, you can lift up your hips and place that block underneath of your sacrum instead and relax here. If you have back injuries, conditions, that might be the best option for you. Okay. Otherwise, you can keep your block between your upper inner thighs. And in your next inhale, start to tilt your tailbone up towards the backs of your knees as you start to lift your hips up. So continuing to lengthen as you lift. Lifting up from your ribs all the way up to your chest. And then your chest is starting to go towards your chin. Pressing your arms down, pressing your feet down. Press your thighs into your block or into an imaginary block if it's not there. Good. Press your heels down and imagine your feet, when you press your heels down, drawing back towards your head. Good. Keep lifting your hips up as you press your back ribs into your front ribs. And then exhale slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lower down to the floor. Remove your block from between your thighs if it's there. Move your feet to the outer edges of your mat and then just knock your knees into touch. Just taking a few breaths here to neutralize. Good, and then bring your feet back into hip bone distance apart. We're going to do one more. So either the block is between your thighs, maybe the block is not between your thighs this time. Maybe you're doing supported bridge pose this time, your choice. Arms down by your sides. You can slide the block under your sacrum if you're doing supported bridge pose. Press down into your feet. And then your next inhale, press your arms down. Start to tilt your tailbone up towards the backs of your knees. Then you're slowly starting to lift your hips. Lift your ribs, lift your chest. And keep actively lifting your hips as you lengthen your tailbone down and actively pressing your back ribs into your front ribs. If you want to go a little bit deeper just to open your chest up a little bit more, you can very gently roll your shoulders under you. So you're lifting up and just rolling your shoulders under, but your hands are still on the floor. Press down into your feet. Press your heels down into the floor. And then your exhale, slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Good. And then walk your feet to the outer edges of your mat. And bring your knees into touch. Arms can be down by your sides or wherever you like. Good. Slowly walk your feet back in. And then I don't want you to hug your knees into your chest, but I just want you to bring them up to about hip height. And then grab on behind your knees and just rock yourself up to sitting, or just roll over to one side and press yourself up to sitting. And we're going to go back down to the ground in a second. So I want to do a couple things. We're going to do one thing with the strap or the belt. So if you have one, grab it. And then just have your rolls nearby, because we're going to do one restorative pose I really like. So have a strap and have your rolls to both sides of your mat. Okay. All right. And then come back down to your backs. Okay. So what I want you to do, we've done this before. So I want you to take one of your rolls and I want you to put it to the outside of your right hip. So it's like kind of touching your right hip. And then you're going to take your strap and you're going to wrap it around the ball of your right foot. If you do not have one, it's fine. You can either grab your big toe, that's just a little bit more intense, or just lift your leg up like so. You don't have to have the strap, okay? But if you do lift your foot up, your leg does not have to be 100% straight. It's just going towards straight. So you're lifting up from your heel. So your heel is pressing up towards the ceiling. And then if your leg doesn't straighten all the way, that's fine. Hold on to both sides of your strap with your hands. Arms are straight, so hands are going up towards your foot. I have my left knee bent with my foot on the floor. So that's a really good option. If you would like to, you can extend your left leg down and flex your foot. You don't have to do that though, okay? But keep pressing your left thigh down if you are doing that version. And then from here, keep your right foot flexed, press your heel up, and then maybe you're just very gently bringing your right leg in towards you. Press down into your sacrum and make sure that your left hip is pressing down as evenly as your right hip. Good. And then from here, you're going to take the strap and put it into your right hand. So both sides of the strap are in your right hand. And your left arm comes out into like a T shape. If you don't have room, you can bend your elbow and make like we call it a cactus shape. T shape is best though, if you can. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn your right leg out from the hip socket. And if your leg is straight, I would recommend bending it for now, and then you can re-straighten it. So turn your leg out from the hip socket so your knee and your toes start to point out. Then you're starting to drop your right leg to the right, slowly. And your thigh and your upper thigh should be supported by your roll. And if you don't have a roll, that's fine too. It just gives a little bit of support, but it's not like necessary. And then if you want to extend your left leg down, you can. If that feels too stressful, go back. Keep your right leg straight and actively pressing out through your heel. Good. Bend your left knee, place your left foot on the floor. Inhale, draw your right leg back up. And then exhale, release that, bring your right foot to the floor. Okay, switching sides. So do the same thing with the other side, having your roll by your left hip. And again, if you don't have the rolls, it's fine. The rolls just provide a little bit of support. And then strap around the ball of your foot, holding onto both sides, and you're starting to straighten your left leg, but again, it does not need to be 100% straight. And then again, if you don't have your strap, you can either just, straighten your leg, you can hold on to your big toe if that is accessible to you, however you want to do it. Good. Pressing down into your right foot at first, and that's just giving you a little bit more support. And then if you want to extend your right leg down, you can. Flex your right foot, point your toes up if you're doing that. And then maybe starting to draw your left knee or left leg in towards you. Keep pressing your left heel up, drawing your toes down. Try not to round your upper back, right? So keep your spine neutral. And then from here, just come back to the center and place the strap into your left hand. Right arm comes out into a T shape. And then again, I would bend your right knee and place your right foot on the floor, and then you can straighten it once your left leg is down. Or if you want to keep your right leg straight, it's fine. Turn your left leg out from the hip socket, so your knee and toes point out. Then start to drop your left leg to the left. And again, your upper thigh should be supported by your roll. Keep your left leg straight, pressing out through your left heel. And then you want to press down into your right hip and right foot as well. And then from here, if you want to extend your right leg down, you can. And inhale, bend your right knee, place your right foot on the floor. Inhale, lift your left leg up, slowly release the strap from your left foot. Exhale, bring your left foot down. Good. From here, we're going to go into another, it's like a restorative type of pose. It's like a modified restorative pose. So you're going to take your two rolls that you have and just slide them down so they're by your knees. And I like to have them at like a little bit of an angle. And then we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose, or some people call it a butterfly. So your feet, the bottoms of your feet are going to start to come together, and your knees are going to come out wide. So if you have the rolls toward your knees and that feels like too much sensation in your hips, then bring them in close to your hips. And that's where that angle comes in. So it's kind of like the roll is supporting your upper thighs and your hips and kind of like your ankles. I think that feels fabulous, but all of us are very different with our bodies. And again, if you want to bring it out a little bit more to get a little bit deeper of a stretch, you can do that too, have it underneath your knees. If this is way too much, you can use your blocks. So you can put the blocks at an angle, like so, underneath of your knees. You just got to kind of maneuver it because they do slide a little bit. Okay, so something like this would work too on both sides. And if you don't like this lying down, you can sit up and do it sitting as well, if that feels better for you. We are going to stay here for a little bit. So you're going to hear some silence, and that's okay. So arms down by your sides, feet together, knees apart. And just close your eyes and allow your legs to relax into the props that you have. And slowly start to deepen your breathing. And then very slowly just reach down and place your hands on your knees and use your hands to guide your knees up. And then you can just move the towels out to the side. And then just bring your arms out into a T shape, knees bent, feet on the floor. Good, and then reach your arms behind you. Stretch your arms back. And then draw your knees into your chest. And if you want to do a happy baby pose, okay, so the full version of happy baby, you can. Same thing, you can always put your hands behind your thighs, behind your knees. If you'd like to do thread the needle, you could do that one as well. So our last pose before Shavasana, before we rest. So if you'd like to do something else, that is fine too. If you're doing thread the needle, you're placing one ankle over the knee, drawing the knee in. Pressing your sacrum down wherever you are. If you're in happy baby, maybe swaying side to side. And then as you're thinking about Shavasana and preparing yourself for that, you can go back to what we did in the beginning where you place those rolls underneath of your knees. You can place blocks underneath of your knees. You can take one of those blankets and cover yourself up completely from your toes all the way up to your neck. Feels really great. You can also fold a blanket or a towel to where it's kind of heavy and then placing it over your hips for support. That weight feels really comforting. So when you're ready, coming into your version of Shavasana, if you're near a wall, you can also do legs up the wall. Just thinking about coming to that stillness in your body. Legs down, arms down. Closing your eyes. Coming back to your breath. And coming. And now maybe setting your intention for your day. And slowly start to deepen your breathing. And then just bring some movement to your fingers and toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. Very slowly roll over to one side and pause there for a moment. And using your top hand, slowly press yourself up to sitting and come to any comfortable seated position you like at the top of your mat. And place your hands together to heart center and close your eyes. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in every one of you. And we bow to complete our practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me. I hope you enjoy this cold and somewhat windy Saturday, but it is beautiful outside right now. Again, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. I miss you guys a lot. I can't wait to be able to practice with you all again. Schedule will be out tomorrow. Again, if you would like to set up a private lesson with me, it could be for you, it could be for a group, it could be for your kids, whoever, just let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.